Hello, everyone. Welcome to
Morning.
Monday Live with Alan and Greg and our special guest, Jim at Books, Reading, and Stuff. And today, Alan is in Virginia with me, so we know that his internet connection will not drop. So Jim, how's it going for you today?
It's good. It's been a very windy day in the middle of the day, but now the wind's calmed down, so it's going well.
Cool. It's been a nice, pleasant day out here in Virginia. We are at the 64 degrees Fahrenheit, so I find that very pleasant. And we've got bad in the comments already. It's so crazy to see you both on the same screen. Well, hello there.
Oregon.
Indeed, it's odd sitting next to a person on the live show instead of looking at you at the screen.
Yeah, I'm really nervous for some reason. I've been nervous since I got here. Nothing that my hosts have done. I'm still getting my plain legs. My ears are just still finally popped out.
Traveling is hard, especially as you get older. I noticed my patience, like on the last time I flew somewhere, I just had very little patience sitting on the plane. I didn't like it that much.
Oh, let me get mine. Go ahead.
Here's Mark. Hello, Mark. Hi, gents. Very odd, but nice to see you together. Need you to get over there, Jim.
Yeah.
If you ever make it to Washington, D.C., we'll figure out a way to do a live show somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I've only been to America one time in my life, and I haven't visited Washington, D.C.
Do you ever plan to try to visit again?
It's not on my immediate plans, but who knows? I'd quite like to see the other Georgia, because I live in Georgia here. I'd like to see Atlanta, Georgia, and Athens, Georgia.
Mm-hmm. I've been to the other Georgia.
I lived there. We were talking about Georgia today.
He lived there for a while.
Yeah, I lived there over a year. I gained about 50 pounds, but
so the food's good.
Yeah, I love that soul food, Southern cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'd like to see Athens for the music scene.
Yeah, REM and
we got Zap here in the comments.
Hey, Zap.
Here's Bet. If I ever visit Greg and your wife, my first stop is your library.
Oh.
It's yeah. Like you said, if you're in the area. Okay. So, what have people been reading? I know, Jim, you're reading Martin Chuzzlewit.
Yeah, Martin Chuzzlewit, the American one, the American Dickens.
The American Dickens.
It's the only book where he goes to America in the book. Dickens visited America twice, but this is the only book that features America.
I was going to ask, like, Dickens did visit the United. I think he did the book tour.
Yes, he was there twice.
Yeah, it was really successful.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very successful. But the second time he visited, it was bad for his health, and he died shortly after returning.
All right.
I read that.
Yes, he died at 58, so I've just outlived Dickens now.
So, how do you find? I mean, I've read a number of Dickens. Let me see if I can remember all the Dickens. I've read David Copperfield.
I read that.
Oliver Twist. Bleak House. Hard Times.
Christmas Carol.
I think that's it. But you're going for the complete Dickens.
I'm going for the complete Dickens.
I've read Tale of
After
Two Cities.
this, it'll be just Barnaby Rudge and Nicholas Nickleby to read, and then I'll have read all the novels.
Oh,
Oh, cool. Now, you're
I
not
didn't
trying to
know
read them in publication order. You're just trying to read them all
No.
eventually.
No, I started with the later ones because I prefer the later ones. The earlier ones have more problems. But
All right. So, like, what was his like first book? You
the Pickwick Papers was his
Pickwick
first book, which was very bitty. It was okay, but it was like a lot of stories just bundled together into one book rather than like a novel with a arc going through it. And then Oliver Twist wasn't that good. That's probably my least favorite. That's the second book.
That's one of his most well-known books, or is it?
yeah. Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Yeah.
Is that part of the book, or is that part of a movie?
That was.
May I have
think it
some
was a
more,
book
please?
as well.
May I have some more, please? It's very hungry, Oliver Twist.
No, are you going to try to get all the short stories and stuff, or are you just going to go for the novels?
I'm just going for the novels at the moment. I've
Okay.
read The Christmas Carol, which is one of the longer short stories. But
All right. And the third, the one you held up before
now
the 13th, what? You held it up, the Kindle book you just held up.
13th Tale.
13th Tale.
yeah, I've got the 13th Life, the 13th Tale.
Tale.
Diane Setterfield, I got this today. And I spent a lot more than I usually do on a Kindle book because it's the FOMO pick this for September and October. FOMO Club is run by Jack and Gemma and Alice.
And what does the
Alice
FOMO
and the
stand
Giant
for?
Bookshop.
You're missing out.
Fear of missing out.
FOMO.
They choose one book for every 2 months, something that they found that they haven't read that they want to read because everybody else has read it. And
Okay.
they picked some good books. They had Jamaica Inn, they had The Song of Achilles, and they had Goodnight, Mr. Tom. And they got, so it's one book every 2 months. And this time, September and October's is the 13th Tale. So I wanted that. I went to the Internet Archive, but they only had copies in French, German, and Italian, not in English. They've been removed, the English copies, from the Internet Archive, maybe because of the publisher.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's still under copyright. So,
Yeah.
so have you been
Internet
enjoying
Archive's good for older ones like Agatha Christie. And
Yeah. So are you enjoying the 13th Tale?
I haven't started it yet. I just got it today.
Just got it today. All right. And let's go through. I think people are just saying hi to each other. Another Chandler Morrison. That's a bad thing. He's reading the Chandler Morrison. Mark Allen. Mark. Yeah. He's saying Alan will show us Greg's books. I show you my books. Love the film with Alice Guinness as Fagin.
Yeah, Oliver Twist.
Mm-hmm. Hello, William. Alan looks uncomfortable without his cap and his smoke. Yeah, that's one thing Alan can't do in this house is smoke.
But I am a little nervous. I don't know why I don't know.
Well, it's the same as always. You're just sitting next to people.
Nancy.
All right. So what have we been reading?
Maybe you need your nicotine.
We are both part of October, where we are reading some tales of Edgar Allan Poe. And so far, I've done this month The Black Cat and Tales from the Maelstrom. Now, The Black Cat is one of my favorite Poe short stories. I think he really captures that Poe feeling of the narrator going totally mad. Because it starts off, with him having this pet cat that he really likes, and then he winds up killing his pet. And it's like, it disturbs me because I could see, you know, I have cats. I love my cats, and then I can't see myself going that mad, even if I were basically that much under the influence of alcohol. The second one was The Descent into the Maelstrom, which I really did not enjoy that short story. That's the one where he witnesses just this water vapor, you know, water hole, you know, vortex sucking things down. But it was inventive for the time. And we went to Poe's grave yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we got some good shots, but there were people in it's a churchyard.
Oh yeah.
We were going to do a video of reading some poetry there, and
it was too busy.
Right, we just missed his death date by
1 day.
1 day. Yeah, I flew out on the 8th.
On the 7th, we were there at the 8th. No. He died on the 6th, and they had the events on the 7th and the 8th.
Yeah. But yeah, even Baltimore, I really like the harbor. What's it? The harbor?
Baltimore Harbor.
Yeah, that was great. Really nice and clean. Big buildings. Yeah, really enjoyed it. And then,
hello, Fred.
Hey, Fred. Then tomorrow we're going to Richmond. So there's a museum there, Poe Museum. And then more Civil War stuff tomorrow. We went to Fredericksburg today, took the guided tour. It's really historical, you know, and pretty heavy for me.
A part of that was just the description of the battle and how brutal that battle was, and just how totally unnecessary it was. It was the story. Now it was McCullen, I believe McCullen, the first general who he's not part of it. He's the one that did nothing in the Civil War, and Lincoln fired him because he wasn't doing enough. And then Burnside took over, and he wanted so much to do something. He attacked an entrenched position. That was, you know, any general is going to see saying like, you're not getting that position. And he just, lots of men got gunned down.
Yeah, but then there's a big statue there by the same sculptor who did
Iwo Jima, the famous Iwo Jima in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, it's a statue of this Confederate soldier running out with canteens of water for all the, you know, dying men, all the Union guys. Big statue.
Yeah, that was an interesting story that I did not know, is that after the main battle, there were thousands of Union soldiers wounded on the battlefield, basically not getting any attention whatsoever. And one Confederate soldier says, you know, we can bring them canteens of water. You know, and he did. And
they probably didn't have a whole lot of food.
No.
I don't know how. It's crazy. I like the Civil War. I'm not going to call myself a Civil War buff. There he is.
Well, there's Abby. Hello, Abby.
Abby, who are these people?
We all know you, Abby. Yeah. We like the dogs.
Yeah, she wants to know where the dog treats are.
Of course. Of course, in my house there are only cat treats. So she would not want to be interested in visiting my house. So there you go, Alan. Advice from Bad. Gum and breathe, Alan.
Well, I have some gummies left over from the plane. I have a whole 100 milligram gummies. Maybe I should eat all these.
Maybe so. So saying hi to Fred. Let's go through. He's saying hi to the Stay Puft. That Stay Puft videos were just hilarious. I'm surprised you didn't puncture your suit when you were standing outside of some bridge. Or thinking, oh man, if she bumps into it, she's gonna puncture his suit.
Yeah, pop.
William's still reading Cloud Atlas. For goodness, I had to look up how to spell marshmallow. Hello, Todd.
Hey, Todd.
He says, great to see the boys discussing books and other stuff. Awesome. All right, Todd. Okay. So any other reading events you're doing this month, Jim?
Oh, I'm reading that, but
This is Victober and the FOMO Book Club. I think that's all.
Now I'm going to read. I'm going to read North and South. I have the printed book too, but I have the audio.
Elizabeth Gaskell.
Yeah, I've been threatening to read that since last Victober, and I didn't get through it. But then I'd like to watch the George Bernard play, like with Roz and Tilly. And that play is something about Mrs. Warren.
Yeah, I got Mary Barton. I read Mary Barton. That's the only Elizabeth Gaskell I've read.
Oh,
that was 2 years ago for Victober.
Yeah, I've been participating in Victober for like 5 years.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do Victober in about a week. I'm gonna read the 4th book in Anthony Trollope's Barchester Tower series.
Yeah, I still haven't read Trollope.
Trollope is
I haven't either.
Trollope is really delightful. He's just very amusing, very very mannered. My two favorite were the Warden and Barchester Towers. His 3rd book, Dr. Thorne, in the series was just okay, but it was worthwhile. I have it on audiobook, so I'll be starting that after I finish one of my books for Occult Detective October. I will get to that in a minute. Here's a question from Fred. Alan and Greg, can you tell us more about your visit to Poe's gravesite?
We could have bought tickets, but the gravesite is free. It's on a church graveyard, and there's famous political people there too.
Yeah,
like politicians
in the churchyard. And yes, there were other people around the gravesite. I wanted to record myself reading the poem over the grave, but there were enough people there that I didn't think it'd be appropriate to hinder their viewing of the grave with me saying, please stand away while I read this poem.
Right.
But no, it's totally free.
We took some photos.
Yeah, we did. I think you posted it to the Voxer group. But no, it's also when you go on a Sunday, parking is free. And it just so happened we could park right out front of the gravesite. So that was kind of nice.
Here's the Irish Brigade.
Yeah.
Come Irish Brigade.
So as I said, I'm going to do that Anthony Trollope for Victober, and I'll probably do that next year. I think I have a few more after that in the Anthony Trollope Barchester Tower series. And I do recommend Anthony Trollope. Start with The Warden. That's like a 220-page book, so really short, really easy to do.
I have a Trollope I've never read yet. But
yeah, the Victober read along is a big Trollope book as well. The Way We Live Now.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish the Barchester Tower series before I get into anything else. Just continue with the story until it's done. Now, for the rest of I have the other event I have is the Occult Detective October. And the book I'm finishing now is so far my favorite of the month. It's called The Tomb by F. Paul Wilson. And it starts with this guy named Jack who calls himself a repairman, although he doesn't fix appliances. He fixes people's problems that can't be fixed within the law. The one event he described is when he was a teenager, he had this neighbor who loved his lawn. You know, he'd always go out today and cut his grass and put in new bushes and trees. And the teenagers would love to drive their cars over his grass and just destroy his grass and run over his trees and bushes. So one day, what he does, he gets some iron pipes.
Mhm.
He digs a hole, sticks them in the ground, pours concrete in the iron pipe, and then just lets the boys drive their cars over that iron pipe. So that's the character. And this character, he's then hired 2 jobs. One is to recover a stolen necklace from an old woman. She was mugged, and it's a vital heirloom. And then another story to find the missing aunt of his ex-girlfriend. And the stories are connected. And it's bringing together Hindu mythology, which is all I'll get into. It's definitely an occult mystery because he's the detective and he's running into some supernatural things that are happening. And I've really enjoyed it so far. I read it probably late 80s. This is a reread for me. So it's fun to revisit that.
So Hindu philosophy, we're talking like Shiva and Ganesh and all that?
More Hindu religion and mythology than philosophy. But yeah, there is talk about Shiva and the Hindu gods and Hindu religion.
Mm-hmm. They have their own system of astrology too. The Vedas.
So here's that. Everyone had my full support. It helped me go to the store. I was nervous. She's talking about her Stay Puft Man.
Yeah, it's crazy fun.
I think I might do other movies of the Stay. If you have a Stay Puft costume, might as well use it. Here's a question from Fred. Jim, can you tell us how you felt when some people in Tbilisi recognized you as a booktuber? Did you just say hi, or did they want to chat?
I haven't heard this.
Yes, it was the times this has happened has been when I've been getting the bus. So we're getting on the same bus, and somebody's talking to me. Like they look at me as though they're recognizing me for the BookTube, and these are expat Americans that recognize me. It's not the local Georgians. I don't know if they recognize me or not, but they're usually more reserved. The Americans, if they recognize you, they'll say something.
So the Georgian, if they recognize you, they wouldn't say anything.
I don't think so. They're more reserved, and I don't know how much they're watching this. My audience is mostly from America, although the ones in Georgia will be put down as from Georgia.
Okay.
So
I have never been
surprised
or seen as a booktuber in the wild. That's never happened to me. Does it happen to you, Alan?
Hell no. No.
Well,
I get a lot of strange looks from people, but
that just may be you. Okay, so any other good reads this month are coming up? Any other events you're looking forward to, Jim?
This month? No, it's mostly Victober. Victober was the first BookTube event I ever participated in. And I got onto BookTube through Katie of Books and Things from watching. She did a readathon of the Odd Women. That's following that on Goodreads before I had my own new BookTube channel. So
I like Katie. Have you read her novel?
Not yet.
I'm
waiting for the price to go down.
Oh, geez.
I did request it on NetGalley, but I was turned down for
I read it from my local Portland library. Yeah, they had it faced on a bookshelf.
Yeah.
Like a librarian pick. So
Was
she's
it good?
making.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. I won't get into that, but she, if you're a writer and you write a book and libraries get a hold of it, and it's, oh man, she's got to be making some a little bit.
Most authors, unless you're selling tens or 20,000s of copies, really aren't making much money. It's-
If you're James Patterson, you just put your name on the front and get someone else to write it.
Now, James Patterson's making money.
No, I mean, when they pick up your book for libraries, you can make a lot of money. I had a friend who wrote a textbook and it made, hundreds of thousands of dollars off it. A theater textbook.
That's unusual. I believe Katie's book is a novel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad to say that most fiction writers can't live by writing fiction. That's just a very sad.
Yeah, they have to teach or.
Well, you remember it was a Kurt Vonnegut book that we read. Was it this year or last year? Where we had a comment about how you used to be able to make a living selling short stories to magazines.
The Atlantic and
Harper's. It used to be, if you were a popular or semi-popular author, you sold a few short stories per year, published a book, and you could buy a house somewhere.
Yeah, Faulkner.
Yeah.
And it was kind of an asshole-ish thing, but there's this novelist called Neil Stevenson. You know him, Jim. He wrote Cryptonomicon. He's pretty popular.
Yeah.
And he was at some conference where writers were. And one of his other writing people said, "Well, what do you do?" And he goes, "I write." He said, "Well, what else do you do besides writing to make a living?" He goes, "I write." Because he could live. And I thought that was kind of being cruel. Like, you're tormenting this other author who's not as popular, saying, I don't have to have a day job. I can just write. But, he does pretty well. Williams Library, if I have the time, I'll film a vlog at Old Village, which are the cemeteries with unique ancient tombs. I filmed my first YouTube video there in 2011. Wow. Old-time YouTuber.
Yeah, 13 years.
And I did read this book this weekend. This is one of Criminali's favorite series. It's a very violent Western. And the first book the author wrote, he had never read a Western in his life. He had only seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. But he wrote it, and this is his third book in the series. He's an Englishman writing about American history, and it sort of shows a little bit, that he doesn't quite know everything, but it's an interesting story. It is very violent because you'll be attached to a character, and then the Apaches attack, and that other character, well, that character got scalped and died, and he's not afraid to kill women and children. Normally you'd have books like, oh, you can't kill the woman, can't kill the child.
True.
For cemeteries, I visited Père Lachaise in Paris.
Oh.
Père Lachaise has got Edith Piaf, Oscar Wilde, Jim Morrison, and
a lot of others.
Yeah. You get a map of the cemetery with all the famous graves around there, and you can visit them.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be a great video, Bad. I wouldn't do it in your Stay Puft, though.
Actually, here's what he's saying. I thought about recording a video for Poe at the cemetery here that is a tourist attraction. Well, here's the thing. It would have been easier to read the poem over a grave that didn't have a lot of people surrounding it trying to get pictures of the grave. And if your gravesite is a tourist attraction, how are you going to make a video without
interfering with others and
without interfering with? But it's a good idea.
Bad. I would do that if I were you. It doesn't have to be Poe's grave,
It doesn't have to be Poe's grave.
Or you look for somebody with a last name of Allen or something, or Ed. You might be able to get lucky and find a Poe, a David Allan Poe.
There are some old slave gravestones with no names, no Stay Puft, but there's a lot of history. It's not
Yeah.
really big.
I
Okay,
think
yeah.
that'd be a cool video.
It could be a cool video.
Spooky. Spooky.
So what about November? What you got going down for November, Jim? Have you decided yet?
No, November is usually NaNoWriMo and nonfiction November, if I remember rightly.
I like nonfiction November.
Are you going to do NaNoWriMo? I didn't think you wrote.
I don't write.
No.
But
I'm not an organized writer, so I'm more of a. There's like two categories. I forget the names now, but one's organized, the other's, just scattered, like a mood reader or something. I'm more of the latter.
a mood writer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then,
Yeah.
I get on one and I'm writing 2 stories for the Garb August, and hopefully he'll like one of them.
Criminales.
Yeah.
I wrote 2 sentences for a story in Garbagis, and I said, nah, I don't want to do this anymore.
I would try again.
It's too difficult. I used to do short stories when I was in my 20s, and it's just too difficult to get it all out put it on paper.
Well, you could read it and then get somebody to transcribe it.
Here's Fred. Sorry, not Poe-related, Alan. Can you tell us
Sure.
about your poems in the Stygian collection?
Yeah, one was a older one I rewrote called UFOs in Utah, and I changed it to UFOs in AZ, about the like the cow mutilations and how they were. It was off a real newspaper article, and then the other one was off the top of my head before Cormac McCarthy died, and the first line is Cormac McCarthy has bad breath. And then I described my dinner with him of he served cooked possum with a side of, I'm bad with remembering my own poems. But yeah, I like the Stygian Society. They had a live Saturday, but I was on a plane.
Yeah.
So here's Mark.
Dr. November.
What is it, Jim?
I've read quite a few books by booktubers now.
Ah, nice.
Margaret Pinard's books, The Keening, and there's Dane Cobain's book, Scarlet Sins, Mark Nash's book. There's Scully's book, Dutch Coffee Shop. There's the Stone Cold, which was the horror anthology.
What's that?
Hayes' book. Matt Wall's
I like to
book.
read Hayes' book too.
Yeah, Poking Holes as well by Juan Valencia, which is very disturbing. But and this Heartwood Hall is just a sample. I haven't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's Katie's book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What Dane Cobain book did you read?
The Scarlet Sins.
Oh, okay. Isn't that a collection of poems for story?
There's poems and there's a song and there's short stories.
Yeah,
as well.
okay. I've read that. Yeah, you can look up his songs on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I read that. I brought a Dane Cobain book for Greg on the plane. Got it handy? Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
I have an autographed copy of that. So I had 2 copies and thought I'd give Greg one.
Yeah.
He was on the show last week.
Last week. So Mark is reminding me that I am participating in Dr. November.
Okay.
This is to read espionage books from roughly 1917 or the Russian Revolution to 1991, the fall of the Berlin Wall. And I'm really looking forward to this because I'm doing some John le Carré. I am doing some Ian Fleming. I had to do, work around the issue in the United States where the current Ian Fleming books are now boulderized.
Ridiculous.
Because
Ridiculous.
well,
It's been going on for decades, this polarization.
what?
It's been going on for decades, the censorship of books. Like
It has, but there actually is a trend. Is that
Yeah, it was
most of the
stepping up.
Boulderized books nowadays, when you talk about the
Sexism.
no the children's book author,
Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl, Ian Fleming, Agatha Christie, all those three very conveniently have movies coming out.
Hmm.
And it's
Wow.
someone said it's probably Hollywood saying, we'll make this movie of this book, but we don't want someone to pick up a copy of this book with our poster and see some words we don't like.
Mm.
So that's probably the biggest push is coming from the Hollywood industry to get these books changed.
Hmm. I didn't know that.
Yeah. But I mean, you can understand with Agatha Christie, and then there were none. The original title.
We know. I mean, but now see, I'm sorry. It's like I can separate out what language was used in the past and what language is used today. And you know, you can understand why you would not want to use some of this language currently. And I'll mention is I finished a history book about African Americans in World War II. How they got involved and what they did, and how horribly they were treated as people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here you have this one guy who's African American. He had a college degree, which is kind of still unusual back then for an African to have a college degree. He volunteered for the Army, and they made him a cook.
Instead of an officer.
You know, and then you shake your head. But the language the author used was contemporary until he went into direct quotes. When he got direct quotes to show the racism, he showed the racist language, which I think is probably a good compromise, you know, because it's showing people this is what we say now, this is what was said then. Because imagine if you had someone who picked up like James Bond, and you're reading the new version and go, oh, they were so polite to black people back then.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that sort of reinforces the stereo, you know, the one line of people who said, oh, that never happened. And my that's just my personal opinion, is that you leave the language alone. But so no, I'm off the track. Like, I'm really gonna dig Dr. November because I got the Fleming, I got John le Carré. I'm doing another book by Robert Littell.
And I'm going to watch the Sean Connery movie again. It's the least I can do.
Okay, which car is that from?
Alfa Romero? Austin?
No, it's Aston Martin.
Okay.
James Bond.
Oh, yeah.
From Thunderball.
Excellent.
Thunder. Okay. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that event. Just bad. It will be a classy video, no spooky, just history, a tour. I know Alan likes those kind of videos, like that Russian who makes videos. The Russian that makes videos?
I don't know.
William, hey, you should read my upcoming book, Jim. I didn't know William had an upcoming book.
Well, we know now. You can
I'll
announce
it when it becomes available on Amazon. Oh, okay. It's not been announced yet. Oh, okay. There you commenting on the Todd. I was given the entire works of Poe from 1904, the little black books. They were my grandmother's nice condition, nice. My pride and joy. Okay.
It's nice to have that.
Venice guy, Alan.
Oh, he's German. You mean a German from Venice? Yeah, she must mean him. He's German. Not Russian. He's German.
German from Venice?
Mm-hmm.
Who's this one?
Yeah, that's who she's referring to. That she said, like the Russian guy.
Right. Yes.
He's German from Venice. He's only got like 200,000 subscribers.
Who is this one?
It's called German from Venice.
Oh, German from Venice. That's the name of the channel.
Yeah,
I guess I don't know that one.
he's Venice, California. Yeah. So he tours around Venice and showing all these old Hollywood sites, and
Okay.
I think he goes back to Germany to visit his mom. But he's got 200,000 subscribers. Pretty cool.
I've noticed that if we wanted bigger channels, we wouldn't have book channels.
No, I wouldn't be talking about Faulkner and Civil War.
No.
Certainly, if I wanted to get that
Be talking James Patterson and
YA.
YA.
Um,
My bad.
I get a lot more views from when I just film the Metro for a short than I do talking about books.
I used to get a lot of videos when I did cat videos. Like sometimes I'd get like a few thousand. Then I guess the algorithm put me blackballed me because now my cat videos get maybe 200 views, and some of the earlier ones got like 4,000 views,
Wow.
which for me in a short is really good. But
Yeah. The algorithm is kind of learning what we're about.
or has learned what we're about and saying, they're really not that important.
Or these people like cat videos, and then they saw someone talking about books and they signed off YouTube. So we're not recommending that channel again.
Right.
Exactly.
I was just joking about that last night. I put up a cat video. I usually get 1 or 2 subscribers, and then I do a review of an occult detective book, and I get -1 subscriber. And I'm going, okay, you really either hated my review or you decided that he's not talking about cats anymore.
Right. Same with me with guitar videos.
Yeah, no one watches your guitar videos.
Well, I get my shorts. I get thousands of hits.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'll show you a couple. But then they realize I do talk about books, and unsubscribe.
All right, we got a question from Fred. Alan, you're on the East Coast for a couple of weeks. What are your
Oh.
plans over there?
No, I just till Thursday. We're doing a Civil War in Richmond tomorrow, like DC on Wednesday, right?
Wednesday, yeah.
And then
Then you got to head home on Thursday.
yeah. So just a quick visit. I like to take. I was going to do a weekend, and then you said there's too much to do, and so I just took the opportunity. I've been to DC before, but it was before the Vietnam Memorial, and with any luck, we'll be meeting Hannah at Hannah's Books in DC. So have lunch or coffee and walk around. And I have a friend in Portland who used to live in DC, so he mentioned some things to do. And Greg's been there recently,
Yeah.
right?
My wife had a friend visiting from out of town, sort of like you're visiting from out of town, but
Yeah.
my wife still has a day job, so I took her friend out to DC to walk around and show her the.
We're taking a train.
Oh, definitely taking the train up. Yeah, Bad had channels before BookTube.
Yep. Hence
Hey, Gareth. Hello.
Gareth makes it. So watch it, Gareth.
Bad, I had short films, artwork, and other. I don't talk about it because of something I keep very private. That one's buried in history. Then it's BookTube. People saying hi to each other. All right. So, what have you been around? Have you read anything recently that you have not commented on?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to read Bull Run, and then whatever. Just the Poe stuff, and I haven't. During football season, my reading goes down. I admit. I'm watching college football, and then my weekends are taken up. That's my excuse. But I was just too excited about my trip. I couldn't concentrate. I've been listening to audio. I can't read on the plane. I'm too nervous.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what I had a question to answer. People saying hi. This is early for you. Oh, was it visiting? Oh, wait a second. Here she is.
Yeah.
She's Bad is asking me, what are you cooking, Greg? Yes, I am cooking out on some enchiladas tonight.
Yeah, that was one of my requests.
Yeah. And I started cooking enchiladas because I got really dissatisfied with enchiladas whenever I went out to a Mexican restaurant. Is that they'd always make it with cheese whiz or cheese sauce. And I said, why not just use American cheese? Why not use Mexican cheese?
Oh, yeah.
So that's how I started making my own enchiladas, just being dissatisfied with what the restaurants were making.
No, I didn't.
No, he didn't buy any cheese whiz. He would have been. I would have left him at the airport if he came in with cheese whiz.
Yeah. Cheese whiz.
It's
like how dare you? How dare you? Cheese whiz. I like all kinds of cheese. I don't discriminate myself, but
yeah, it's early out here.
Yeah, we accommodate our guests who are in like Europe or Georgia or Czech Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had a layover in Minnesota, and the barman gave me a tip, because I missed my flight, and I'm notorious for that. He said, if you go up to the mezzanine, they have mats on the floor. It's a quiet room. So I went up there and crashed it out for a few hours, listened to the audiobook, did some other activities, but won't get into them there or here.
Say who?
Hi.
Hello.
And what she's reading.
The girl who played with. Does she read in English or is she read in? I guess she's reading in English.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I love those books. I really like them.
Yeah,
I like the movies too.
Yeah, I like them. That's why I'm reading for the second time now.
Yeah, Lisbeth.
Yeah.
Lisbeth, yeah, very computer genius.
I read the first three books that were originally written by Stieg Larsson, and I really enjoyed those first three. But I have not read any of the books written by different authors.
The posthumous one.
They're not even posthumous. It's just someone continuing with the characters.
Oh,
okay.
right, you're right. Yeah,
No,
wrong word for me.
I have an interesting story about that
I
series.
haven't heard about that.
Is that when they were first published in they were first published in the UK, and then they were published a year afterwards in the United States. And once they became popular, people went through the first two books, and then the third book was out in the UK, but it was not out in America. So what I did is I went to Book Depository and I ordered my copy from the UK. And so I got it, and I was listening to this radio show out here in the US called NPR. And they were talking to the American publisher of the third book. And he went on to say is that it's actually illegal to ship books from the UK to the United States if they're in copyright. And he says Americans have to wait for the American edition to come out. He says, I promise if this ever happens again, we'll publish them at the same time. And I just found that interesting is that if you own a UK paperback, I guess it's technically illegal.
So you're
Now,
breaking the law.
He says that they're not going to come prosecute people for it. You know, it's not where, but it's because they paid money to have that sold in the United States, that they don't want you going somewhere else for it. And the reason why that they had to take a year is that they had to update the translation because the original translation was done from someone in Scotland and it had UK English. So if you look at the end of the book in the UK, it has Elizabeth throwing an Elvis statue into a wheelie bin. So
Wheelie bin. Yeah.
a wheelie bin.
Yes.
But in the United States, it's a dumpster.
Uh-huh.
So that's why they had that odd delay.
Yeah. Well, this is the UK version.
Yeah, this is
Sure.
okay. Right. Yeah.
It says it's got the UK price on it. So it's
Okay. But no, I said I really enjoyed those books when I read them when they first came out. I thought they were a lot of fun.
It started the craze for the Scandinavian noir books, like Joe Nesbo and all the others as well. You follow.
Yeah, I love John Espo.
They were around before, but they weren't super popular. And I don't know what was about Steg Larsson that made him more popular than the other ones. Other than it just captured the fancy of the readers.
Exciting.
And it's awesome how much he knows, how much information he gives, and yeah, that's
It may also be that he was really passionate about how badly women were treated, even in Scandinavian countries. Like, at least in the United States, we get the impression that Scandinavia is very progressive and treats everyone fine. And I guess his idea was, well, maybe you're being misled.
yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. The pay gap, if you look at different countries, it's closest in the Scandinavian countries, but the men still get more than the women for the same job.
Yeah.
That's
Still today.
still today everywhere. But the closest the gap is in the Scandinavian and Nordic countries like Finland as well.
Yeah. I agree. Well, I think it's true. So, here's a question from Fred. Hey, here's an important question for you, Jim. Do they celebrate Halloween over in Georgia?
There's been some controversy about Halloween. When I was first here, the youngsters had a Halloween party and the priests stopped it because it thought it was bad for the youth of Georgia. Dealing with the devil and all this. But now the priests are more concerned with stopping the pride events when those.
Oh, the pride events.
Yeah.
They got
It's
something
very-
else to boycott.
So is crazy over there? Is it isn't because here in the United States it's just getting out of control.
Halloween.
No, Halloween. No, about the pride thing, the anti-pride crusades
Or drag shows.
or drag shows.
Yeah.
We're going back in time.
It is.
All this censorship and
Here they were going to have the pride event at a private place on one of the lakes in Tbilisi, but the police stopped it because they said they couldn't protect the people who would attend, even if it was on a private property.
jeez.
That was this year for Pride. But
Wow.
Halloween hasn't been so controversial recently, but we'll see this October what happens.
So you don't get the little kids trick or treating to your front door.
No, none of that.
Now, do you think part of that is the legacy of the Soviet Union that would just not tolerate that kind of behavior, or is it just not the culture hasn't caught up to other parts of the world that celebrate Halloween.
Yeah, I think it's the culture hasn't caught up. In the UK, when I was a child, it wasn't really Halloween as a big thing. It was Guy Fawkes, but now Halloween has overtaken Guy Fawkes in prominence.
I remember that because when I was in high school in the early 30s, not early 30s, early 80s, not that old.
Dude,
Yeah, you're looking good for your age, Greg.
Yeah, but it was the early 80s, and in our high school, we had a woman who was an American who it spent her basically a whole childhood in England, where for her father's job, and then came over to the United States. And the kids were hearing, oh, Halloween's coming, and the kids are going, Mama, what's Halloween? And I think her mother was British, and her mother had to call up an American parent saying, what's Halloween? Because back then,
a lot of the Halloween celebrations came from Ireland, and they went to America, and then they came back to Europe. The carving of the pumpkin, it was carving turnips in Ireland, and then popping for apples and
candles in it. Yeah, they put a candle in a turnip, big turnip, called it jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really an English thing. It was more of an Irish thing, Halloween. And now.
So here's Gareth. You were always a comment. You always ask me if I want to do it on earlier. And Gareth, you always say, I'll do mine in the middle of the night. I appreciate that. Here's Fred. Hello, Mrs. Jim's book reading. Well, she's gone.
She's gone. Yeah, she saw the comment though.
She saw the
That's
comment.
good.
She smiled at the comment.
Yeah, Gareth, we were talking about you earlier, or I was to Chris or somebody about NOLA, and you got to let me know when you're going there, and I'll introduce you to my friend Jason Ritchie in New Orleans.
Gareth likes the
Wheelie
term
bin.
wheelie. I think wheelie bins. I think it's a fun term. I mean, dumpster is technically a brand name of a type of trash can that's become
synonymous with dumpsters and diving and
Yep.
Crazy.
Read and reread. Well, here's a stellar lineup. Good afternoon.
Hey,
Thank you.
Angelia.
Thank you.
Hi,
Shelby
Angelia.
Coach says Aaron.
Aaron Facer.
Yay.
Cilantro.
Gareth, my daughter loves Halloween more than Christmas now. Ha. She loves dressing up and watching horror films. Well, I could see that.
Yeah, I used to love Halloween as a kid. I still like it, but I've grown to love Christmas more since I moved to Portland 13 years ago. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's the colder weather from Arizona, and I just get in the mood. They decorate the cities all in lights, and like Halloween, the complex I live in, we're putting on a haunted house for the kids. And we already have candy and stuff to give them. And so I'll be involved in Halloween upon my return.
Well, I live in a 55 plus community, so there are no resident children in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I just realized that.
Well,
because I haven't seen any kids.
Well, you do get an occasional grandchild staying for a while. And I think it's written in the regulations that you can't have a grandchild stay for more than 3 months. Now, there was an issue, and I understood it's like you had grandparents, you had parents who I think died in an accident.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a grandchild, and he said, well, we're taking care of our grandchild.
That'd be an exception.
And no, it was, you got to go.
You're kidding.
I don't know if it happened here or a different 55 plus community, but I'm going okay, that's really an exception. If
maybe it had to be they'd have to get it all legal. And
I don't know, but something, if that happened to the person across the street, said, I don't see no grandchild. I don't see one, just ignore it. I mean, because that's the kind thing to do, but
it's strange.
Well, the thing is, if you're on an HOA or one of those boards, there's some people who just love sticking with the regulations.
It's
Yeah.
also-
Yeah, my parents were involved in all that. My mother, welcoming committee, and you can only paint your house a certain color. And
Yeah, I know. Oh, one thing I was going to ask was asking Jim is we're talking about Halloween not being so popular. Is Christmas really popular in Georgia as well?
It's confusing. The big celebration is New Year, 31st of January, 31st of December, 1st of January. But when the kids I teach talk about Christmas, they're talking about New Year, not about Christmas. Georgian Christmas is the 6th of January with the Orthodox calendar,
Okay.
but it's more of a religious thing than a present thing. The kids get their presents on New Year's Eve here.
Okay.
But
Great.
they also have the old New Year's Eve, which is the 14th, the old New Year, which is 14th of January, but that's not really celebrated so much. It's a day off. So they celebrate the New Year at the same time as everybody else in the world. And then they have their Christmas on the 6th of January, and then they have the old
Yep.
New Year on the 14th of January.
Okay. So you're saying you're not on the same calendar as like the UK and Georgia.
They're not in the same it's the Orthodox calendar, like
Okay.
in Russia. And so it's like 12 days difference for Christmas. Easter, that's different again. Sometimes Easter falls on the same day. Sometimes Easter can be a lot later here.
that's
Sometimes they have Easter in May in Georgia. They never have Easter in May in England or America. But they wouldn't have Easter in March here. They'd have it either in April or May.
That's
always
interesting.
April.
And
So Gary, your daughter sounds braver than me. Your daughter. wasn't it? Oh yeah. I guess he said you daughter, right? Okay.
yeah.
So what are the big? You said the big celebration out in Georgia is New Year's Day.
New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, that's the big celebration. There's lots of decorations, like Christmas decorations in the city, but this is the snowflakes, things like this, all lit up.
That's kind of cool. I mean, I was about to say, like, I'm not a big Christmas person. Ever since I grew up and stopped being a kid, I'm going like, oh, all right.
Humbug.
Right. Christmas is for kids. But I,
Well,
like, I like giving presents away. I also like receiving them.
Yeah, but the problem is that like with my wife and I, it's like we both have money in the bank, and it's like, well, how do you buy each other, Christmas gifts? And like you're just going out to buy something, and
What about Valentine's Day? You can't forget that, though.
no, but
Or would she be mad if you forgot that?
I don't know. I
Disappointed.
haven't forgotten one
Ah,
yet.
that's good. You don't want to find out?
But I know someday I will. It's
And the
just-
wedding anniversary.
yeah, we don't do as much for those events anymore as that we used to, because after, was it 28 years, it's like you're still married, and okay, it's just a date, and
But they have different things every anniversary. Is like first is what, paper, and then diamond anniversary is 50, I think.
I don't think we've ever paid any attention
to
to that whatsoever.
It's just a commercialization of it for the
It is.
Sure is.
It's just to get you to
stores are
spend
trying
more
to get you
money.
to spend the money on.
And, you get the idea. It's like, wouldn't you rather go on a vacation in
Yeah.
March where we don't have any celebration whatsoever, but you're getting out of winter and she wants to go visit a beach somewhere, and it's just spend your money on that. It's
Mhm.
more memorable than,
For
oh,
sure.
you bought me a book. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you.
Yeah, inscribed.
No, she wouldn't. She wouldn't write in my books.
Oh, no.
Actually, I don't think she'd ever buy me a book because she wouldn't know what book to buy me. She's like, oh, you've read it, haven't you?
Yeah. Oh, honey, thank you. It's a book. How did you know?
I could buy my wife gardening supplies.
Yeah, but I hear you. What do you buy the person who has everything? It's like buying for my dad. So I just try to buy him a funny T-shirt, or like this year, I'm going to send him a thing from Portland, vinegar and olive oil, and then his girlfriend, I'll buy her some kind of Indian earrings, I think, turquoise.
So here's Gareth. After 30 years, it's hard to surprise my wife at Christmas, but it's nice to try. I'm kind of amused that you still try to surprise her.
30 years. Wow. That's wonderful.
Well, he's about 2 years ahead. I'm
Yeah,
28,
close.
20,
Mhm.
pretty close. Here's Aaron. I love the week between Christmas and the New Year. It's so quiet and cozy. When I was working, I always took that week off from work, or always tried to, because you got the Christmas holiday and then the New Year's holiday, and you could use fewer days off and get a longer vacation to.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
And Aaron lives in Wales, so I bet they have a beautiful Christmas.
they probably do. But he probably gets a good vacation package in holidays. Being in the UK is like you get lots of time off. Where in the United States, it's like, what do you mean you want 2 weeks? You don't want to give you 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Does Georgia have a lot of holidays?
A lot of public holidays. We've got a holiday on the 14th this month for Mtskretober. Mtskreta is where the first cathedral was in Georgia. So we have a holiday for that.
How many holidays do you have a year? You remember?
I don't know about the state holidays because I'm working for myself. So it's,
Oh, you don't get the holiday off.
no, but I get a lot of time in the summer because nobody wants to learn English in the summer. So
Well,
Vacation, summer vacation.
yeah.
that I could see really if I were younger, working and saying that could be kind of fun. Getting a whole summer off. But I guess you don't get to travel during the school year as much.
No, not as much.
Yep, that's the week where you're not rushing around. Angelia, I love Christmas. I'm already looking at the Advent calendar stuff.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to go with chocolate or tea, or every day you tear one off?
I don't know. Our local Costco is already starting to sell Christmas items.
Oh,
Yeah. When I worked in music retail, from October, we'd be playing Christmas songs. It was crazy.
Mm.
Oh, that would just have driven me absolutely batty.
Yeah. And also when you're working in retail, there's a big build up to Christmas, but you finish work Christmas Eve when it's been really busy. You just have Christmas Day, and then the next day it's the sales already. You don't get a lot of time off if you're on retail for around Christmas.
Mm-hmm. So, are there any new books being published that you're looking forward to, Jim?
No, especially I read The Savage Skies by Kat Ross, and the next one in the duology is out in March, The Rogue and the Revenant. So that's a way off yet.
Okay, I saw your 1 minute video on that one.
Yeah, it's good. I like
And
that.
I looked up at Amazon, and Amazon is listing it as a YA book.
Yeah, it's similar to V. Schwab, the Color of Magic series, a similar level.
See, I'm not familiar with the Schwab books either.
I'm waiting for Ken Follett's new book to come out. I think The Arctic Sword, but My friend Fee, Mr. Fee, Jeremy Fee, and I are buddy reading Follett. We've been going through the Kingsbury series. So that comes out soon. And then I got a copy of Demon Copperhead. It's relatively new, isn't it? Came out this year.
Yeah, it came out. It won the Pulitzer Prize.
Oh, did? I
It
didn't
did.
even know that. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
her a lot. Barbara Kingsolver.
I've read a few of her. None of her books have hit it out of the park for me, but I've read a few that I liked.
I like the Poisonwood Bible. I mean, I can still remember it in Africa and that. So if I can remember even the tiniest scene from a book, I like it. Like we were talking about Sophie's.
Barbara Kingsolver, La Cuna.
I've read
The one with Frida Kahlo and Trotsky in it.
Did I read that one? Or did I read the Roundhouse? I think I read the
This one
Roundhouse.
had Diego Rivera, Frida Kahlo, and Trotsky in it.
I would like that.
That's La Cuna.
I would like that one too. I'll have to put on my TBR because I like Frida.
Mhm. So, Gareth, I worked music retail for 15 years. I'd love to know more about what kind of shops you worked in.
Yeah, I worked for Our Price Music from 1988 to 1991 in London, mostly, in Notting Hill, Queensway, London Wall, Liverpool Street, Wandsworth, South Wimbledon, and also in Oxford branch.
Very cool.
And in Notting Hill, we often met some of the pop stars of the time, like the Pet Shop Boys and Big Audio Dynamite, because they were living in the area and they'd come in, and Elvis Costello.
Amy Winehouse. No,
It was before her time.
It should have been after. That was way after.
91.
Been way after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that comment was dumb.
Well, I worked in retail too. I worked at bookstores from 87 to 95, something like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I worked in bookstores in Arizona.
And both the bookstores I work for are now out of business.
Mine too. Mine was an independent one.
Our Price is out of business as well. Music retail's virtually gone.
Yep, Tower
Not
Records.
many people buy music now.
Oh,
I still do, but
the thing is,
I like vinyl.
I remember back in the early mid 90s going to Tower Records, and that place was packed like on a Friday night. It was just,
I can remember that.
it was,
We had one in Tempe, Arizona. Yeah, we had Peaches going back. We had Boogie Records growing up, but I worked in a lot of bookstores.
Yeah, there's a big Tower Records in Piccadilly Circus as well.
Still? Wow.
it's still,
There
Probably
was when I was working in Our
Oh.
Price. No, I don't know. It's been
Yeah.
a long time since I
Not
lived
even
in
LA
London.
anymore.
so Jim, the new Schwab book is out.
Yes, I know.
Were you looking for the cats? The
No, Cat Ross.
Cat Ross. All right. Cat Ross.
Yeah, it should be 1988 to 1991.
I kind of figured that. Oh,
I'm
I
right.
misspoke. Roundhouse is Louise Erdrich, not Barbara Kingslover.
Oh.
I had 2 stints in HMV, so we could have been rivals. I guess dueling record stores back then.
Yeah, I don't know what HMV means.
I don't know what HMV is.
His master's voice.
His master's voice.
Oh,
They had the dog and the gramophone on the.
I thought that was RCA,
Logo.
but
We still got an HMV at Portsmouth, which is great to see.
Chez La Vie.
I write the book
Oh,
J'écris le livre. I write the book, Elvis
Sheila
Costello.
B. Chris is going to love my comment on that. Sheila B.
Jim, Booker's
Fuck you,
question. Do you shop at Amazon UK and ship to Georgia? Do they have a lot of English language books available in Georgia?
I shop on Amazon America for Kindle. And when I came here, most of the English books were classics. But now there's now a lot of Colin Hoover books here in English. And I came across this one. This is not Colin Hoover. Virginia Andrews. A bit late for Garb August, but
Oh, VC
I've tried
Andrews.
to find this. Yeah, V.C. Andrews, who wrote Flowers in the Attic. This was written posthumously as well. It was finished by Andrew Niederman. But
Right. Not written by Virginia Andrews.
I think it was started by Virginia Andrews and then finished by someone after her death, because it was published in 1990 after she died.
Right. The Criminale is mentioned is like he was originally hired to finish a book or two. And then they just said, well, just continue to write your own books under the V.C. Andrew name.
Yeah.
Angelia, I worked at an independent video store for a few years in college. It was in the mail, beta on one side, VHS on the other.
Yeah, I remember Betamax.
I worked in Walden Books in a mall store one time. But that would be a big store, I imagine, in a mall.
I remember Betamax too.
Oh, yeah, me too. Until VCS
So no,
got more popular.
Jim was talking about. He says all you use the American Amazon just for Kindle. You don't try to ship physical books.
I don't ship physical books at all. I did have one book sent to me from America by an author, but I think it spent like $30 on the postage.
Yeah, I sent a book to Criminale once, a paperback, and it was like $24.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy, the postage prices.
And at that point, I'm saying, because it was a book that was not in print anymore, and you couldn't get it on Kindle, so you can sort of justify the price, saying, well, there's no other way to get this book. But it's quite distressing to see how expensive that is. Garrett, I miss video stores. It was great picking up films to watch as a family. Probably just nostalgia.
Yeah. Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Blockbuster.
I don't know. I find it difficult to sit through a whole film now, a whole movie. I'm so used to watching things like on streaming, like with series or just YouTube videos. Sitting down to watch a whole film for 2 hours.
Well, I remember when we didn't have video stores and we did not have video players in our house.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to see a movie, you saw it in the movie theater or waited for the TV butcher, the edited for TV version to come out.
With commercials in it.
With commercials. No, that was the only options you had back then.
I remember when we got our first VCR, my dad even got his first camera. It was like it had a shoulder thing on it. Mm-hmm. It was RCA.
I remember I was freshman or sophomore in college, something like that. Is during the summer when the friends were here, we'd go to a video rental store, but we'd also rent the video player because we didn't have a video player.
Jack's here.
Spread the book joy. Hello. Please be kind. Rewind. Yeah. Yes, love browsing a video store on Friday nights. That was
a social occasion. You go to the video store with your friends and pick a video.
Buy a box of candy.
Videos.
And you always have to remember to return your videos the next day.
Yeah. No, shoot. I just bought another one. Yeah. For paying the late fee, like a library.
Yeah, those were the and the thing is, the younger generation is not going to understand what we're talking about all this going to video stores and rewinding and
Yeah, I still watch movies. I got a CD-ROM, so they still have movies on like disc.
yeah, but I don't think anyone other than maybe old timers like us
Yeah, they're all streaming. But I watched
watch on video.
I watch
VHS.
movies on Amazon Prime. I just watched Elvis. Man, I watched The Banshees of Inisherin. That was great. That Irish movie. Oh man, so many spoilers in that. I finally watched Rocket Man with Elton John, about Elton John. Some other movies. I went through a stint because I've been in a reading slump. I must admit. But I still listen to audio.
Yeah. Now you don't do audiobooks, do you, Jim?
No, I took the sample of The Stand from Audible to give it a go, but it's not for me, audiobooks. I don't drive here, so in England I was driving, so I could listen to an audiobook while I was driving, but
See, that's the thing with me. Like I don't drive either. I take a lot of trains and buses, and I still can't listen to an audiobook. I was listening to music, like only in one ear too. In fact, when I don't have my little ear goggle in, I feel like I lost it. Where's my ear goggle? That's what I call it affectionately.
sometimes I'll listen to the audiobook on YouTube while I'm reading the physical book,
Oh yeah,
particularly if it's like in the African American vernacular, so I can get an authentic voice.
yeah, or Merlin James, the Jamaican accent.
I got Marlon James. I still haven't read it. Got Marlon James
Oh
waiting.
man, great! I love that book. Yeah, love that book.
Yeah, I think it's because you were raving about it that I got this one.
Oh, great!
Yep.
And I have you to thank for rereading The Catcher in the Rye as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that's your Soviet edition of The Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah, it's a Soviet copy of The Catcher in the Rye with a red hat.
Do you know if that was edited by the Soviets, or you don't have enough information?
I don't know. It's got the introductions in Russian, but the text is in English. It's published in 1968 by Progress Publishers in Moscow.
You know, J.D. Salinger.
Yeah.
Who are my favorite authors?
Oh, Greg, do you remember Errol's Video Rental? And yes, I do. They were pretty big than Blockbuster. I think Blockbuster knocked them out of business. Hard to remember. Here's one, Jim. Who are your favorite authors or your go-to authors?
There's a few. In 2021, I didn't read the same author twice for the whole year. I was reading different authors each time because I liked the variety. Charles Dickens would have to be one of my favorites because I'm going through all his novels. Franz Kafka, V. Schwab, Olga Tokarczuk.
Mm-hmm. I love Flights.
I liked Flights, and I liked Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead. That was really good, about this cranky old woman.
Oh, she was I loved her. She was great.
And John Steinbeck. I really like John Steinbeck.
I love East of Eden.
Yeah, East of Eden's my favorite of Steinbeck's. But
Yeah, it's great.
You know, you see, there's a debate between East of Eden or Grapes of Wrath, of which is the greatest.
These are the two big books he wrote, but I think East of Eden has more hope. Grapes of Wrath is very depressing, very much a downer.
Oh yeah.
But East of Eden there's a mix of hope and
There is.
depression.
Now,
Yeah, more humor.
There was some channel who mentioned this, and I forgot who it was, but they mentioned in the past Grapes of Wrath was John Steinbeck's masterpiece. But there's been an insurgence, a resurgence of East of Eden coming up as his best. That more and more people now say East of Eden is his best book.
Yeah, and Margaret Atwood as well.
Mm-hmm.
At one time, I just said Margaret Atwood was my favorite living author, but I'm not sure now.
No, okay, Jeremy, I have a question.
And Elif Shafak as well. I like Elif Shafak.
Oh yeah,
It's very
I like
popular
her too.
here.
What's that? The 40 Rules of Love.
40 Rules of Love.
I
The
love
Bastards
that
of Istanbul, Honor. She's done a lot of great books.
I had two questions. You're talking about two of the authors. First of all, the Atwood book is that I did not like The Handmaid's Tale when I first read it in the 80s, but when I reread it in the early 2000s, I really kind of started understanding what she was getting at with this book more so than I did when I was in my mid-20s. Now, the one thing I did is I read her sequel, The Testimonies, and Testaments, and I was just really disappointed with that book.
Yeah, I'm not touching The Testaments. I've heard it's not very good.
Yeah.
It's nominated for some prizes. Did it get the Booker Prize?
It shared the Booker Prize.
Yeah.
And my thing is that what happened is in 2016 or 2015, they'd made the series of The Handmaid's Tale and released it in 2016, and Trump became president. They really weren't related, but all of a sudden, people joined those two things together. And it was really powerful, even though I really did not think much of the series too much. But then they continued the series after the book ended. And I've mentioned this before, is that I think the end of The Handmaid's Tale is the perfect ending for a dystopian novel.
I can't remember how it ends.
That's just my opinion, but the TV series continued. What happened after they shut that door, to the truck? And did you ever see the TV series, Jim?
I saw a couple of them. I didn't see the whole thing. There's the actress who was in Mad Men.
Yeah, Maz.
Yeah. The first season, when it's following the book, is okay because it's following the book. But then they started going off onto a different storyline. And I heard this comment is that when you're reading a book, a passive character can be okay. Offred can be an observer to the events and still be a good character. But in a movie or a TV show, you can't have a passive character. You have to have the main character be active in something.
Yeah, constantly.
And I think that's where it sort of veered off out of control. Is that my comment is sort of Perils of Pauline. She's always in trouble. All these other women who did something wrong had horrible punishments. But no, Offred, oh no, you're special. We're not going to gouge out your eye, or whatever,
Other comments?
Yeah, let's Jim, you already did your favorite author. Oh, Olga, have you read the Book of Jacob yet by Olga?
Oh,
not yet. No.
And
Drive Your Plow.
Yeah,
it's one of those books I want to read, but it's 900 pages, and I'm thinking,
damn, yeah. And what have you heard about it? Have you
I
read
just
any
heard-
reviews or?
I've heard some people.
Mm-hmm. It's one of these.
Mammoth, it's definitely a mammoth.
Yeah, mammoth.
Yep, Errol's killed the store I worked at. It was in Virginia. You know, I live in Virginia. What part of Virginia did you live in? Just kind of curious.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying.
Oops, I deleted my comment. Errol killed the video store I worked at. No, then
Yeah, it's really beautiful here. The foliage and trees. It's quite like Portland. You know, the leaves are turning color. It's clean air, really clean. No like trash. I haven't seen a homeless tent since I've been here. A few, like one or two panhandlers, but not like anything like
wait
that.
till we go to DC on
Oh,
Wednesday. You'll see the homeless people. They're there. Gareth, I love Kafka too. I love Schwab's book Vicious. I had the sequel, but I haven't read it. I love Steinbeck too. You know, I also like Franz Kafka. I think my favorite Kafka is the Trial.
Yeah, my favorite is The Hunger Artist. It was his last
Hunger
story.
Hunger Artist is that would be number 2, I think, for me.
Metamorphosis as well. I really like.
Yeah, that would be maybe that's 2. The other one's, but we're all talking the same one. Yeah.
And The Castle would have been great if he'd actually finished it, but
I don't know. I mean, I think America, I think, is weaker than The Castle.
yeah, he'd never visited America in his life.
No, it was. This is an ideal. It's like an ideal utopian place that he can think about.
Yeah, but with the novels, none of the novels was actually finished. The short stories were finished.
Short stories were finished, but you know, the Trial felt complete. There were some gaps. I mean, it has the ending, you know, with Kay being led off to the end.
I vaguely remember it.
Well, hello,
Hey,
MJ.
Glad you can make it.
Yeah. People saying hi to MJ. MJ saying hi.
Oh,
You know, Angela, I live in Fredericksburg. Technically, I don't live in downtown Fredericksburg, but I live in the city and corporation part of Fredericksburg. At least now, I didn't live there before, so I would not have lived down there when you were here.
Fredericksburg.
Yeah, and we're going to see Richmond tomorrow.
Yeah, some more Poe and more Civil War tomorrow. Yep.
Gareth says, I think The Trial is an incredible piece of work. I just the whole idea of Joseph K. being up against this mysterious court, and then you have no idea of what you're accused of and all the machinations going on behind the scenes, and you find out your verdict and you never really know why.
Yeah. Like Kafka worked for an insurance company. He was never a writer. He was never a professional writer.
Right.
And he knew all about it. It was an insurance company in the Austro-Hungarian bureaucracy, which was infamous at the time.
Well, yeah, that's what people were saying, is like The Trial is, he's really talking about this endless bureaucracy of
Dickens, you get that as well in Bleak House, the case of Jarndyce versus Jarndyce. It's just,
you know, when I read Bleak House and they got to the end of the Jarndyce versus Jarndyce trial, I was saying it was such a powerful criticism of the legal system. It's just like,
it felt like Kafkaesque before Kafka's time. The whole Bleak House.
Yeah,
I've never read that. That's a brick.
It is a brick, but you know, there is a whole other
brick house.
Whole other story about the character. I forgot the actual characters that were doing something, but the law part I remember the most in that book.
So where are your cats at? Did you put them out?
No, my cats are upstairs.
But they're not making an appearance.
They're not making an appearance.
One of Greg's cats likes me a lot.
Hold on for 1 second while you speak of that. I want to make sure my wife let them out from the deck.
Oh, that's probably what they're doing. Okay. Hello, welcome to my channel.
Hi, hi, Alan.
Yep. So we again toured Fredericksburg. The graves there were not as many as like Arlington Cemetery, but just terrific to think about, and a lot of just numbered tombstones, smaller ones.
Now, all my cats are fine. They're just hanging out upstairs, just
Oh.
ignoring us.
Yeah, you one cat, Teddy, is taking a little shine to me. I think it's because I opened the door.
Yeah, Teddy's saying this guy over here is going to
Let him out,
let him out of the house so to go roam around the neighborhood.
because Teddy's the one that likes to go on walks on a leash. We've took him for a couple walks, and I would do it if it was a dog. I would take your dog for a walk every day, but I'm too afraid cat will get loose, and then we wouldn't get him. And I lost my effing cat.
Yeah, this is the first time I've lived with a dog. I've lived with cats before, but not with a dog. So this is a
That's
new
a pretty big dog,
experience.
too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Alan, good to see you fellas having a good time. Arlington is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was at Arlington Cemetery a few years ago because my wife's father
Oh yeah.
was a career military man. He served like 20, 30 years. You know, he joined up and retired. So he was eligible to be buried in Arlington Cemetery. So he was.
Oh, now when was this?
Now he died shortly before shortly after I met my wife and wasn't dating her yet.
Oh, so he's been dead a while.
But spouses of military veterans buried in Arlington Cemetery can be buried in Arlington Cemetery. So if you go to Arlington Cemetery, a lot of times you'll see John Smith dates in front, and then on the back you'll see Joan Smith, spouse, buried, and they're buried in the same lot.
Yep, that's like Poe's grave. He's buried with his wife.
So that's what I remember, because when my mother-in-law passed away, that we had her.
Oh, I see. That's when you went out there?
That's when we went out there, and they don't give the spouse the full.
21.
They know they
salute.
get. You're not a serviceman. You're the spouse of someone served, but you do get a service in there. So that was, very nice to see. Fall is a great time to it is the best time, or actually to visit Virginia. Is very pleasant. Like I said, it's 64 degrees right now. Here's MJ. The Korean War Memorial in DC is really moving as well. I'm so excited for your adventures. Yep, I'm probably going to take him and Alan and Hannah over, because when we arrive in the mall, the art museum is not going to be open yet. So we're going to walk around all the memorials, like the Vietnam and the Korean.
Yeah, I've never seen the Vietnam Memorial
yet. They have a World War II memorial there too, and a DC memorial too. It's like a lot of memorials down there. Young Stalin.
He was born here in Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that. You saving that for nonfiction November?
I've read this. It's a good biography, but this is about the time up to when he became the leader of the Communist Party.
Young Stalin.
Not when he was in power. So it was up to that time.
I have one biography of Stalin. I think it's the first half of it, a 2-volume. Is there more than one 2-volume biography, or is there just one?
This is this is Young Stalin, and then the second one is The Court of the Red Tsar by Simon Sebag Montefiore.
No, but I'm saying, are there more than one biography of Stalin that's more than one volume? Are you not? You may not know.
Oh, there's lots of biographies of Stalin. There's this one by Martin Amis as well. That this is a very negative biography of Stalin.
Okay, as I said, on my Kindle, I have a Stalin biography, or the first half of a Stalin biography. I've never read it yet, but it's one of those deals where you see a Kindle book for $1.99 and go, "Yeah, I'm just buying that." Medium John, it's great to wander the streets of Georgetown in the fall. Yes, I have not done that for a number of years. Back in the early 80s, when I was in high school, we used to do Halloween in downtown Georgetown. It was a lot,
Spooky.
because that's where you have the Exorcist stairs.
Oh.
I don't know if Bad is Rad is here. She's always talking about if I've ever visited the stairs. What, Jim?
But
You held up your hand like you wanted to ask.
no, MJ's asking what I'm reading.
Oh,
Jim, what do you read? I probably missed it. Or yep.
Martin Chuzzlewit. I'm also reading Jade City by Fonda Lee. It's a fantasy, Asian-inspired fantasy.
all right. Thanks for coming by, and Julia.
Yeah, thanks for dropping by.
We can't wait to get you on the show.
Yep. He's got the schedule. I don't have the schedule.
In November, or no, I think end of October.
End of October. We don't have someone for next week, do we?
I can't remember because we had to move.
I
Jim
was
up.
for next week, but
Right. You were, and you moved. I don't think we have someone for next week.
yeah,
What was
I'm
the
reading
idea?
this one, Jade City by Fonda Lee. It's fantasy set in a city like Hong Kong, but with the mafia and everything.
Have you been enjoying it?
Yeah, so far, but
In Hong Kong.
I've only read the first couple of chapters.
Okay.
Sounds good. Mafia in Hong Kong.
Mhm.
Damn, you might learn something. Might learn something useful.
Bye bye, Riri. St. Elmo's Fire, was that in Georgetown too? I don't think I ever saw that movie.
With the Brat Pack.
At the Brat Pack. Jade City is supposed to be really good. I think he's answered that one.
Yeah,
Just
I'm enjoying it so far.
All right. Read by Fred. Heavily discounted books are so tempting. I picked up an ebook on Greece and Rome for $2.99 the other day. Getting ready for the Read What You Own event by stocking up.
How many are you going to read? Commit to, Fred. How many books? I'm going to try the 25.
Yeah. Thing is, I don't have to stock up on books.
No.
I really have to stop buying books so I can get all the books that I've already bought on my 100 book challenge.
Yeah, it's a good challenge.
It is. I actually have more books in a queue between my print books and Kindle books that are over 100. So MJ is going, what, Greg? I think she's responding to that. I've never seen St. Elmo's Fire. Fred, I bought 2 books today. I haven't bought any books today. Of course, I've been busy, but
Yeah, I haven't bought one record album since I've been here, but that's what I would buy. Then I'd have to ship it back though, and
yeah, I wouldn't trust a record on the plane.
no.
Alan, are you joining the Read What You Own?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll do 25 books. Commit to that, but there's no time limit to get it done, is it?
No, it's you start when you start and you finish when you finish.
Yeah, I can do 25.
Yeah, you just got to pick the right 25 books.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Most of my
I've got
books
about
are-
25 on my Kindle TBR.
You got 25?
Wow, killer.
On the Kindle TBR, yeah, it's a 25, including Jade City, which I've started.
Well, Jim, you can always do the unofficial snowflake level at 10 books. If that's right. I mean, the thing is about this challenge is that the 100-book challenge is too much for a lot of people. I mean, people don't read that fast, and they have day jobs and kids and pets, and it's really not practical for everyone. That's why we have this tier system where you pick the tier that is perfect for you. And for some people, it's going to be 25, and some maybe 10. I know Michael K. Vaughan tried 500, which I don't think he's going to complete, but who knows? He might stick it out just to be stubborn.
God, he must have.
I saw he's taking some time off BookTube, Michael K. Vaughan.
Yeah, I saw that too.
But I also saw he's turned up on Steve Donahue's channel, and he visited Steve Donahue in Boston.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to either of those gentlemen.
Yep. Fred says you were all stocking up for the challenge. And you know something? I'm going to be visiting. I'm going to take the train, not tomorrow, this week, to downtown DC to look at some of the used bookstores and just hopefully pick it out. And
Are you bringing a big bag with you?
not on our trip, because our trip,
you'll go.
I'm going to go for a different day. But our trip, we're just going to do the mall, I think. Because after you do the mall and have lunch, you're going to be tired.
Can we hit the weed store? I'm getting out of
Alan,
gummies left over.
the Virginia is still
No, I mean in DC.
in DC. Yeah, okay.
I need a pre-roll.
I was about to say, yeah, we could possibly do that in DC, but in Virginia, they're still a
Backward.
little backward, saying, "What do you
No,
mean you
I'm
want
just
weed?"
joking. Yeah, well, we're getting into the South, so they don't like to. They don't like to give it up. Alabama, they'll be last. With Mississippi, they'll be the last.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing about Virginia is that you have Northern Virginia, which is right over the border from Washington, D.C., and you have all these progressive people that work for the government and everything else, and they're going, yeah, let's vote all this in. And then you have the southern part of Virginia where...
Well, where did Kathy, your wife's friend, get that CBD? Or...
She ordered that off the internet.
Oh, yeah, CBD is legal.
Mm-hmm. CBD is legal, and they're not. What? I'm gonna be getting down to a message from Bad is Rad in just a minute. St. Elmo's fire theme is now running around in my head.
I know. St. Elmo's fire.
I don't remember that.
You want to hear it? Here it
No.
goes.
I know Greg will conquer the challenge like the last challenge.
Yeah, in months.
I'm still going for 20 weeks, even though I'm not counting my audiobooks. I'm still buying and listening to my audiobooks, but I'm not counting them towards my challenge. And the reason is that I buy them like 24 credits in October and then just select the books that I want. And I've always thought that, well, it's not really cheating, but
I don't think it is.
I don't, but
It's up to you.
It is. But both years I was the first one to cross the 100-book line first. And this year I'm saying, I don't want to be the first again. I want someone else, to.
Well, that's gracious.
No, it's not gracious. It's that it's not a challenge if you're always doing it more than someone else.
Oh, I see. So now you're challenging yourself more.
Now it has to be that I'm more on Ollie's speed, and let's see if we can get Ollie to win. But now Ollie's promised to do like I do is read short books, so he's gonna win. That's okay.
Where can I go to bet on this?
Oh, Greg, I purchased my Scribe. I'm going to download and decide to read what I own. I am currently checking out. Oh, bag. I'm going to have to Voxer you tonight and talk to you about that. See when you're going to get your Scribe.
Yep. You, Greg, and MJ now.
And Ollie.
Ollie have Scribe.
Yeah. I'm going to try to get him to buy a Kindle. I think
I got to buy Wi-Fi first.
I really wish I could do the challenge. I've been doing a library tour for my challenge, so many are unread, but I don't enjoy the challenge. Well, for me, it's fun to see. Can I? Because where's one right here? All right. I bought this before I got married.
Oh Lord, you
So
still have
I've had this book on my shelf close to 30 years, and I've never read it. Will I ever read it? At 126 pages, it's not a great book for the 100-book challenge, but
looks longer.
well, I'm not going to unhaul it because I still want to read it. All right.
I got a whole shelf of physical TBR.
I just mix mine in.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Yeah, those all the comments.
all the comments. Gareth, I didn't last year, but I am this year. MKB is still in the 75 mark from last year's 100-book challenge. I think it's great to take a break, self-care. Some people just need to step away from BookTube for a while, and I understand that. I can purchase the sequel to Black Farm half off on the Scribe. Oh my goodness! Oh, she's just discovering Kindle price books. I'll give you a lesson in hunting out good deals. I'll be your crack dealer or your book dealer. I feel like a kid in a candy store right now. I'm literally going to lose my mind, but in a good way. My Scribe will be here on Wednesday. You need to do an unboxing video. Courtney, hello. I'm going to hop in the shower, but I wanted to say hi. Well, hello, Courtney. People saying hi to Courtney. Alan and Greg, it's odd. Or
you got to do the other way.
Got to do the other way.
Just press my shirt, you can read it.
I always wanted to drop by and say hello, Courtney. Courtney says hi to Jim, MJ, and Jessica. Short books and plowing through the challenge. MJ, Creature feature on Kindle. Those books are all under 100 pages. Saying you can read 6 books in 4 days. All right. So, Jim, do you have a favorite genre that you like?
When I was a teenager, it was science fiction. And then it went to fantasy and to crime. Now, my comfort genres are like police procedurals. If I have a slump, I just pick up a police procedural and it's... And I'm getting back into fantasy from things like V. Schwab and Kat Ross.
I found that when I was young, I loved fantasy too. I especially did you ever read the Michael Moorcock fantasies of Elric and Hoffman? Those are my absolute favorite when I was in high school.
The band I followed, Hawkwind, they often played with Michael Moorcock and Deep Fix.
Michael Moorcock doesn't play an instrument, does he?
He used to read on stage and things.
Oh, read on stage, okay.
And Hawkwind took the Elric costumes and things for the Chronicle of the Black Sword tour in 1985. That was fun. Yes, and I like Behold the Man as well by Michael Moorcock.
Yeah, you mentioned that. That's one of my favorite science fiction novels. I can't decide if I like the novella better than the novel. Have you read both or just the novel?
I'm not sure which I read, whether it was the novella or the novel, but I liked it. I still have good memories of it a long time afterwards, whereas a lot of books I just forget. Like I read that last year. What was it about? I haven't got a clue now. It was just entertainment at the time.
Yeah, MJ, Scribe. We got a new member to the Scribe tribe. Courtney saying, "What's up, Gareth?" Greg, do novellas count for read what you own? Ha ha ha. If someone reads 100 novellas, does that count? Curious. My opinion is that reading a short story doesn't count. But if the novella was ever published independently, the short book, it can count. So that's why I'm counting like the creature features on Kindles, because you buy them individually. They're not packaged up. So I count it. And I think it's fine that way because, you can read a 90-page novella or you can read a 900-page novel. They both just count as one book.
What about these little books?
I would say they count. They're a book. Hold it. You can hold one up. It's a book, right?
Yeah, the yellow wallpaper is very short.
Yeah, but you're holding up a book. Someone
Yeah,
published
it's a
it.
book.
It's a book.
And it's useful also for Goodreads challenges where you have 100 books to read in a year. And
Yes. And I couldn't agree more with the idea of the challenge. Courtney saying all books should count.
I agree.
Yep. Kindle crack. I know. MJ's mentioned that I always comment when I find a good book on sale. I always
do these books count the same?
yes. It's not fair, but they count the same. So
Yeah.
that's why when I
One
do
book, one book.
that's why when I do the 100-book challenge, I read short books. Yes. I agree. Courtney. Reason creature feature. She's got to check. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. So if I read 100 novellas, that count? Yes. Now the one stipulation is you try not to like pick up like a collection of books that, like, let's say Stephen King has a collection of 4 novellas that he published as a book. That would count as a. But if you ever published that novella in an independent book, it would count. And it would still count if you, let's say, like the Mist, which is a short novel that was originally published in a big collection. He has published The Mist as an independent book. So that would count. Yep, totally counts. Little books count. Okay, cool. It's something I may want to try. Just try. It would be a great novella challenge. Jessica might win before me if she does this. And I think that'd be kind of cool. If she could get ahead of me in the challenge. I think that'd be kind of neat. I'm not trying to cheat, but it'd be fun challenge in itself. I guess to play around with the idea. The idea of this challenge is, like you said, it's just a fun challenge. Just to see what you can do. You have to own all the books before the challenge starts. To start buying. Yeah, you do have to own them first. As I said, I'm sort of not really cheating with Kindle Unlimited. Now, are you familiar with Kindle Unlimited, Jim? You have that out in Georgia? No, you're on American. You are the American Kindle stuff.
Yeah, I don't use Kindle Unlimited.
Well, that's where you just pay a subscription fee every month. And while you might say you technically don't own them, you're still paying to read them. So what my compromise was is that I'm not going to cancel my subscription, but I can't add any new books once the challenge starts. Mm-hmm. So if I picked them out and selected them before the challenge starts and I read them, then it counts. But I have to wait till the challenge is over before I can start adding new books to the Kindle Unlimited library. And that's sort of like a cheat because I don't want to be one of those people who subscribe and unsubscribe and then wait and resubscribe again and Kindle Unlimited. And yes, I agree. I need to hurry. Does anyone know if New Worlds November short SF stories is still a thing this year? That was run by the Bookish Bryants, and I think they've gone dark.
Yeah, Scott and forget his wife's name.
Scott, Becky?
Yeah, Scott and Becky.
Yeah.
Yep, haven't heard from him in a while.
I haven't. They said they were going dark for a little while to get some life issues in order. Like I think their house flooded and stuff like that. And
Yeah, I used to talk tarot with him all the time.
yeah, they had some issues and just need to step away. And who knows what happened. So honestly, John, I don't know if New Worlds November is going to start up again this year. I would feel sort of guilty taking up their. Oh, Jim, you're.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I can't hear you. Oh, you're talking. You're probably talking to someone in your house. All right.
I was talking to Mrs. Jim's books reading and stuff.
No.
Yes, I don't know if it's going to be up this year. I doubt it, but I would love to read science fiction stories in November. Anyway, everyone is going to hate me, but in a good way. LOL. I'd like to be finished with the 100 challenge in a month, like everyone. Boo. That would be impressive if you could read 100 novellas in a month. That would still be. I'd be really impressed. That would be amazing. Medium John Silver. A few of us have said we'd like to do it. Yeah, he's talking about New Worlds November. I think it'd be nicer if Scott and Becky were back. Of course, I agree.
They might appreciate you just taking the mantle for a while. As long as you give it back.
Scott posts on Facebook.
Oh, he does?
But I think BookTube is too much work for them at the moment.
I'll have to hit Scott up for
someone should pick it up in Absia for them, Gareth.
Yeah, I agree, MJ.
If you pick it up, add me to the list. I'll join that. Yay! New Worlds November. It will mess up. It won't mess up the Dr. November. They're just short stories. We can do that. Easy peasy.
Harlan Ellison.
Here's Chris. Bay Psalm book, first printed in British North America, 1640. Okay, I don't know where that came from, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did do Horror Mayhem that way, so maybe they can do it. How long is Michael taking? I don't know. I mean, I just don't remember. He didn't specify a reason why he was taking a break, other than he needed to change his channel up a bit, which I'd be happy with his channel getting all his views and video output. Gareth, I was surprised we did Horror Mayhem, but we did it. Horror Mayhem was fun.
Mayhem, like me.
Mm-hmm. You're Mayhem, not Mayhem.
People call me Mayhem, though.
Mayhem. Gareth will message Scott. Right. It's a fantastic event. Okay. Well, Jim, we've been at this 2 hours, so it's probably pretty late for you, right?
Midnight here. It's just
all
past
right.
midnight.
Yeah. I think it's time for you to go to bed.
Yeah, this is the usual bedtime, midnight.
All right.
Getting very sleepy.
All right.
Very sleepy.
So we enjoyed having you, Jim. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'll just be beamed up back to the Enterprise now.
Yeah. Okay. And everyone in the comment chat, I thank you so much for showing up for the two of us in one physical spot. Mm-hmm. Who knows if it will ever happen again, but maybe someday I'll go to Portland.
So thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming, Jim.
Yeah, thanks again, Jim.
And Alan, enjoy your time in Virginia.
Yep.
And DC.
Great evening, morning. It's almost morning for Jim. Thank you. Okay, everyone. Goodbye. See you in another live stream.
Gasho.